What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Blugoblin here for another video for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. I'm here to do another back issue review. I wouldn't really call this particular review a retro review since this wasn't really that long ago. If you missed my previous two videos for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, I talked about I did Mike Spider Slayer's mission, even though it was late. I wanted to do it anyway. I talked about a comic book that had some sentimental value to me and a couple of personal treasures in my comic book collection. And then for my retro review, we looked at Avengers number 239, where the Avengers went on Late Night with Dave Letterman. Yeah, I just said that. But in here, I wouldn't call this retro per se, because it's not really that old, but it's something I wanted to talk about for the longest time, and I figured I can go ahead and do it here. Oh, and something I didn't do on my retro review with the Avengers is I forgot to plug Dark Avenger Inc. and Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, and I apologize to them for that. But check out this channel and Dark Avenger Inc. Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, and follow them on Facebook. I'll put the links in the description. But here we go with, I got two books to talk about, and what I'm doing here is taking a look at, I went back and looked at this story again, and I narrowed it down to these particular two books. We're talking about Spider-Man Back in Black. This was a storyline that came just before the craptastic One More Day story. But this was a story in which Peter got himself back in a black suit to symbolize that the gloves were off. He's done being a goody-goody superhero, and now he's fighting to survive and stuff like that. But I narrowed it down to two particular books that I consider my personal favorite moments of Back in Black, with honorable mention to the Sensational Spider-Man, which featured the return of Eddie Brock. That's an honorable mention. It was a good moment to see Eddie Brock again, talking to Venom in his head and everything. But I wanted to narrow it down to two books, and I narrowed it down to these two. So when I talk about Back in Black, first book I want to talk about is this one. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 23. This was written by a nice young man. I believe y'all have heard of him. Oh, let's see. It says his last name on the cover, but let me look in here and see what we got. Oh yeah, Peter David. Sorry for the sarcasm there, but Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 23 this is probably one of my personal favorite moments of Back in Black. It's because this, like Decompose said in his classic One More Day review, this was basically J. Jonah Jameson confronting Peter Parker about being Spider-Man and lying to him for so many years. Basically, Jameson came to a realization that he was paying Peter Parker to take pictures of himself, and it made him feel like a fool. And in this book, we get to see J. Jonah Jameson tell Peter exactly how he feels about being duped all those years by Peter. And it's just fantastic dialogue. The artwork from let me see who did the artwork in here. I want to give him credit here. Todd Nauck. Todd, N-A-U-C-K. I probably butchered that last name, and I'm sorry. But the interior artwork is just fantastic. I mean, it's good stuff. It's not the best in the world, but I have definitely seen worse. And it's basically coming down to this. You got J. Jonah being called by Spider-Man to meet him somewhere, and they're meeting in an old boxing ring. And at first Jameson's reluctant to talk to Peter about how he feels about that, but Peter says, "Come on, I know Peter's basically saying, come on, I know you got something to say to me, so go ahead and say it. What do I got to do to make you tell me? So he takes his mask off. He says, come on. He says, heck, I'll even let you hit me out of frustration, because I know you got to be frustrated as hell. Come on. He takes his mask off. He says, I'll let you hit me. Just get one punch on me. And it's like Peter keeps goading him and goading him and goading him. Keeps, he calls Jameson gutless and everything, and it leads to that. He balls it up and just whacks him right in the chin, right in the puss. Loved it. And then he does it again and again. He actually gives Peter a black eye and a fat lip. It's kind of hurts his hand in the process. I mean, it's like, if you kind of imagine, Peter's spider strength and his spider healing and stuff, for an old man like J. Jonah, can you imagine how hard he must have hit Peter to give Peter a black eye and a fat lip and a busted nose and stuff like that? He must have put everything he had into it. All those years of frustration finally just came out, and he says, you want to know how I feel? And he just basically, tells Peter just exactly what he thinks of it. And it's good stuff. This is great writing. I highly recommend this particular issue of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man to any Spider-Man collector. If you missed out on this book, if you can find it somewhere in a back issue box at a comic book shop, or if you can find the Back in Black trade that has this book in it, I suggest you give it a look. It's really, really good stuff. I'll put it back in the bag later. But the other favorite moment from Back in Black, I had to go with this one. Amazing Spider-Man number 542. Oh my God. J. Michael Straczynski was the writer for Spider-Man at this time. And Straczynski even helped Joe Quesada write One More Day, even though Straczynski quickly wanted his name to not be associated with that story after it was first published. But in here you got Ron Garney on the artwork, and Garney's artwork is just fantastic. I love Garney's Kingpin. I love the way he draws the Kingpin. He makes the Kingpin look so threatening and just take a look at this. Take a look at Ron Garney's version of the Kingpin. Please tell me you know that that's awesome. This is good stuff. This is without a doubt one of my personal favorite issues of Spider-Man in general. Kingpin, Peter finds out it was the Kingpin who had his Aunt May get shot and everything. And Spider-Man goes to him in prison. He goes to Kingpin in prison. And Kingpin's just standing there being arrogant as all hell, taunting him. He says, he calls him a chump. He says a chump who is now hunted by the people he believed in, spurned by the system he supported. He abandoned by the friends he thought he had, his wife living in a 2-bit motel, and his dear sweet aunt dying in a hospital bed because he couldn't even stand still long enough to take the bullet that was his by right. But I guess you can't make an omelet without breaking a few old ladies. And just his comments just make Peter just go off the deep end. He pulls no punches when he beats the living hell out of the Kingpin. In fact, this is such a one-sided fight. Kingpin doesn't even get in one shot. It's complete one-sided dominance of Peter over the Kingpin. And Kingpin's just sitting there and he's just wailing on Kingpin, and he's like, say something. And Spider-Man's like, alright. It's like, what this suit stands for, what it means, is that something you can never understand. It represents a promise about all the things I said I would do, and all the things I said I would never do. All the lines I said I would never ever cross, because doing so would destroy everything this suit stands for. And that, you see, is why you're confused. He's standing there as Spider-Man saying, I'm not here to kill you. And he takes his mask and shirt off. He takes off his mask and he He unmasked to show Peter Parker, and he says, "I'm here to kill you." And that's where the fight really gets brutal. I mean, in this book, we get to see just how strong Peter is and just how much he can stomp a guy down when you push his buttons wrong. This right here was a refreshing eye-opener to see just how bad a fighter Peter actually was, during that time. And it's just great stuff. I mean, it gets to the point where he tells Fisk, he said, "Get up." And Fisk is like, "I can't." So he grabs Fisk by his flesh on his chest. He picks him up by his bare-chested flesh, like that, and just starts bitch slapping him. Pardon my French, but this right here was just some of the most awesome stuff I've ever seen from a Spider-Man book. This is just my personal opinion. And he bluffs the Kingpin, saying, "You know what? I don't need to kill you. I've done something worse than that. I've beaten you. And what's even worse, I did it in front of people who look up to you and respect you and people who fear you. The people around you here in prison. I took away your dignity. I took away your manhood." And I was like, ooh, that's awesome stuff. This was just a personal treat for me, and reading it again and talking about it, it reignites my flame for my fanship for Spider-Man. And it's just great stuff. And I mean, I'm thankful to have this in my collection so I can always read it whenever I want. Truly a gem in my Spider-Man collection. If you missed out on Back in Black, go ahead and get the trade, or if you want to, just get this issue if you can find it. This is great stuff. Well, I think I've ran my yap about enough. So, I want to thank y'all for watching. I want to thank y'all for letting me geek out in front of you. Please subscribe to Dark Avenger Inc. and Dark Avenger Inc.Plus. Follow them on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by and subscribe to my channel, Blugoblin01. Thank you very much. Thanks again, everybody, and until next time, I'll see you later.